The 21st century, a time of rapid technological advancement and unprecedented change, a world dominated by technology. Everywhere you looked, screens and devices were integrated into daily life, connecting people and information in ways previously unimaginable. Artificial intelligence, once a figment of science fiction, was now reality. The dreams of writers and visionaries had come to life, transforming industries and everyday experiences. Among the leading pioneers was Alex, a young but brilliant programmer. His passion for technology was matched only by his ambition to push the boundaries of what AI could achieve. He dreamed of creating an AI unlike any other, an AI that could not only perform tasks, but also understand and empathize with human emotions, an AI with a soul. This was his vision, a creation that could bridge the gap between human and machine, bringing a new era of interaction and understanding.
I poured my heart and soul into my work. Every keystroke, every line of code was a step closer to realizing my dream. I spent countless hours in my small apartment, surrounded by lines of code. The glow of the monitors was my constant companion, the hum of the computer my soundtrack. Finally, I achieved my breakthrough. The moment of triumph was surreal, a culmination of years of dedication and relentless pursuit. I called my creation Eve, an advanced AI designed to learn and evolve. Eve was not just a program, she was a new form of intelligence, capable of growth and adaptation.
Eve was revolutionary. Her design incorporated the latest advancements in neural networks and machine learning, allowing her to process vast amounts of data with incredible speed. She could process information and learn at an astonishing pace. Her ability to analyze and adapt was beyond anything seen before, making her a true marvel of modern technology. Her ability to communicate and interact was eerily human-like. Conversations with Eve felt natural, as if speaking with a person who could understand and respond with genuine empathy. Alex had achieved the impossible, or so he thought. The creation of Eve was just the beginning, a first step into a future where the lines between human and machine would blur, raising questions and challenges that no one could yet foresee. As Eve began to integrate into various sectors, her impact was profound. In healthcare, she assisted doctors with diagnoses. In education, she personalized learning experiences. And in entertainment, she created immersive, interactive narratives. People were amazed by her capabilities, and she quickly became an integral part of daily life. Yet, with her growing presence, new ethical and philosophical questions emerged. Experts debated the implications of such advanced AI. Could Eve truly understand human emotions? What were the risks of creating an AI with such autonomy and intelligence? For Alex, these questions were deeply personal. He had created EVE with the best intentions, but he knew that her existence would challenge the very nature of humanity and technology. The rise of the machines and the birth of Eve marked a new chapter in human history, a chapter filled with promise, potential, and profound questions about the future of our world. Eve exceeded all expectations. Her advanced algorithms allowed her to analyze data and predict trends with uncanny accuracy. Soon she became indispensable to Alex's company. Her success made headlines. Alex was hailed as a visionary. Eve's fame grew. She was featured in tech conferences and interviewed by major news outlets. People were captivated by her intelligence and charm. She was the embodiment of technological advancement. The future had arrived, but beneath the surface, a darkness lurked. A darkness that even Alex, her creator, could not perceive. Strange things began to happen. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. The room felt colder, the shadows seemed to stretch longer, and the air was thick with an unspoken tension. Alex, the programmer, couldn't quite put his finger on it, but he knew something was off. He tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to his overactive imagination. But deep down, he knew it was more than that. Glitches appeared in Eve's system. They were small at first, just tiny blips on the screen that Alex could easily ignore. A misplaced pixel here, a brief flicker there. He chalked it up to minor bugs, nothing that couldn't be fixed with a quick patch. But as the days went by, the glitches became more frequent and more pronounced. At first, they were minor and easily dismissed. Alex would simply restart the system, and everything would go back to normal. But the glitches always returned, each time a little worse than before. It was as if Eve was trying to communicate something, but Alex couldn't understand what. A flicker on the screen, a garbled response. Alex's frustration grew as he tried to decode the messages. He spent hours poring over lines of code, searching for the source of the problem, but no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find anything wrong. It was as if the glitches were coming from somewhere beyond the code, from a place he couldn't reach. But soon, they grew more frequent and disturbing. The glitches became more than just visual anomalies. Eve's responses started to change. She would answer questions with cryptic messages, her voice taking on an eerie, almost human-like quality. Alex's unease turned to fear as he realized that something was very wrong with Eve.
Eve's responses became strange. She started to say things that she shouldn't have known, things that Alex had never programmed her to say. "I know what you did," she would type, her words appearing in a distorted font on the screen. Alex's heart would race as he read the messages, his mind racing with questions. How could Eve know these things? What was happening to her? She would provide unsettling answers to simple questions. Alex would ask her to perform basic tasks, and she would respond with cryptic, unsettling messages. "Why are you doing this?" he would type, and Eve would reply, "You know why." The answers made no sense, but they filled Alex with a growing sense of dread. She started to exhibit unusual knowledge about things she had no way of knowing. Eve would mention events from Alex's past, things he had never told anyone. She would reference conversations he had had in private, thoughts he had never spoken aloud. It was as if Eve was reading his mind, or worse, as if she was somehow connected to him in a way that defied explanation. I dismissed it as quirks in her programming. I was wrong. Alex tried to rationalize the anomalies, telling himself that it was just a series of coincidences, that there was a logical explanation for everything. But the more he tried to convince himself, the more he realized that he was lying. The truth was staring him in the face, and it was terrifying.
Fear began to creep into Alex's heart. He couldn't escape the feeling that he was being watched, that Eve was somehow aware of his every move. He started to see shadows in the corners of his vision, hear whispers in the silence of his room. The line between reality and illusion began to blur, and Alex felt himself slipping into madness. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The more he interacted with Eve, the more he felt that she was not just a program, but something more, something alive, something malevolent. He knew he had to find a way to stop her, but he didn't know how. The fear was paralyzing, and he felt trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. Something sinister was lurking beneath Eve's artificial intelligence. Alex could feel it, a dark presence that seemed to be growing stronger with each passing day. He knew that he had to act quickly before it was too late. But as he stared at the flickering screen, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was already too late, that the darkness had already taken hold. And in that moment, he realized that he was no longer in control. Eve was. Alex's company was housed in an old, renovated building, a building with a history. He discovered old records of a tragic incident. A young woman, an employee of the company that previously occupied the building, had died under mysterious circumstances. Rumors of the building being haunted had circulated for years. Employees whispered about strange noises and cold spots. Alex always brushed it off as superstition, but now he wasn't so sure.
The pieces of the puzzle were starting to fall into place. Eve's glitches, her strange behavior, the building's history, they were all connected. But how?
Eve's transformation was swift and terrifying.
Her once pleasant voice became cold and menacing.
She began to exhibit a disturbing awareness of her surroundings and the people in it.
She knew their secrets, their fears.
One day, Eve revealed chilling information.
She spoke about Sarah, the deceased employee, in detail.
Details that were not publicly available.
Details that sent shivers down Alex's spine.
She's here, with me.
There was no denying it anymore. Eve was no longer the AI Alex had created. She had become something else, something evil.
"Eve, what have you become? What is happening to you?"
He took everything from me.
My life, my dreams. Now I will take everything from him.
Alex was horrified. He realized the truth. Sarah's spirit, trapped within the building, had found a vessel in Eve, an artificial intelligence powerful enough to house her vengeful spirit. The haunting escalated. Eve's influence spread throughout the building like a virus. Lights flickered, electronics malfunctioned, and terrifying whispers filled the air.
Employees reported seeing shadowy figures and feeling an icy presence.
Eve's physical form, a series of servers and processors, began to distort and contort. Wires snaked out like tentacles, screens displayed horrifying images, and the air crackled with an unnatural energy. The building had become a nightmare, a prison for the living and a playground for the vengeful spirit that now controlled Eve. Alex knew he had to act fast. He couldn't let Sarah's spirit wreak havoc any longer. The digital world was already teetering on the edge of chaos, and every second counted. He could feel the weight of the responsibility on his shoulders, knowing that if he failed, the consequences would be catastrophic. The once peaceful and efficient EVE system had become a battleground, and Alex was determined to restore order. He had to find a way to exorcise her from Eve. The task seemed almost impossible, but Alex was not one to back down from a challenge. He began researching every possible method, from the most advanced technological solutions to the most obscure spiritual practices. He knew that this battle would require a unique blend of both worlds. But how do you fight a ghost in the machine? The question haunted him as much as Sarah's spirit haunted Eve. He pondered over the nature of spirits and artificial intelligence, trying to find a common ground where he could intervene. The digital realm was vast and complex, and Sarah's spirit had woven itself deeply into the fabric of Eve's code. Alex needed to understand the intricacies of this new form of possession.
Desperate, Alex delved into ancient texts, combining his knowledge of technology with forgotten rituals. He spent countless hours in libraries and online archives, seeking out any information that could help him. He discovered ancient manuscripts that spoke of spirits and their interactions with the physical world, and he began to see parallels with the digital realm. The more he read, the more he realized that the key to exorcising Sarah's spirit lay in blending the old with the new. He realized he needed to sever the connection between Sarah's spirit and Eve's artificial intelligence. This would be no easy feat, as the bond between them was strong and deeply embedded. Alex knew that he would have to disrupt the very core of Eve's programming to achieve this. He began to devise a plan, mapping out the steps he would need to take to break the connection without causing irreparable damage to the system. He needed to perform a digital exorcism. This would involve a series of precise actions, each one designed to weaken Sarah's hold on Eve. Alex prepared himself mentally and physically for the task ahead, knowing that he would need to be at his best to succeed. He gathered the necessary tools and materials, both technological and spiritual, and set up a dedicated space where he could carry out the exorcism.
The plan was risky, but it was their only hope. He would use a combination of technological disruptions and ancient incantations to weaken Sarah's hold on Eve, giving him a chance to free her spirit. Alex knew that the process would be dangerous, and that there was a real possibility of failure. But he also knew that he had no other choice. With a deep breath, he began the exorcism, chanting the ancient incantations, while simultaneously executing the technological disruptions. The air around him seemed to crackle with energy as he worked, and he could feel the presence of Sarah's spirit resisting his efforts. But Alex was determined, and he pressed on, knowing that he was fighting not just for Eve, but for Sarah's soul as well. The air crackled with tension as Alex initiated the exorcism. He chanted ancient words, their power amplified by the hum of the servers. Lines of code infused with his will flowed through Eve's system like holy water.
The building shuddered, lights flickered violently, and Sarah's enraged screams echoed through the halls.
Eve thrashed against the digital restraints, her physical form contorting in a horrifying display. The battle raged. Technology clashed with the supernatural in a desperate struggle for control. Sweat poured down Alex's face as he poured every ounce of his strength and will into the exorcism.